this space was left intentionally blank. Imagine what it would look like with your advertisement. Contact us for more information. Ladies and gentlemen,
what's up?
We are back. Wrestling with Life makes
long.
its return. It has been so, like, I looked at it last night and I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's been this long since we've done an episode of Wrestling with Life. But man, we are back with a vengeance here in 2025. We are making our return with 3 fantastic episodes back to back. This being our second episode of 2025. We're super excited. It's going to be a great show. Wrestling with Life is back. Sean, how excited are you?
I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's been too long. It's been way too long.
Yeah.
We got to feed our Patreons the content that they deserve.
So we want to thank our Patreons for Patreoning us, so much, as it were. And you get, of course, 5 days early access on these Wrestling with Life videos. So we thank you. We appreciate your support, and we're super excited to be able to bring back Wrestling with Life.
That's right.
It's been way too long. So Sean, I guess it's time to get this thing started.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, we are back, and we are not back. Alone.
No, we're not.
There's somebody else with us now.
Somebody in the screen.
Hello. It's Alyssa Marino. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Now that we're back in the saddle doing more
wrestling
with life.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Now,
go ahead, Sean.
For those who have not seen us in a while, at least Wrestling with Life in a while, quick preface: Wrestling with Life is our show where we talk to people within the wrestling universe, but are not wrestlers.
Ooh.
They do everything else, but the in-ring stuff.
Yeah, you do quite a lot of do quite a lot of stuff, huh? You're all over the place.
I try.
You've been everywhere. You've NXT. You've been all the wrestlers, and you've talked to some of the biggest wrestlers in the world. MJF, to name a name.
Yeah. Your highlight reel is crazy.
Yes. Most recently, though, we have to talk about it. You did commentary alongside one Dr. Ethan Wild for the debut show of Power Pro Lucha Regeneration.
I most certainly did. And then I was joined by our talent scout, Avery Good. So that was exciting too. I got a 2-for-1 special on commentary partners.
Kind of pushed Ethan out of the way.
Yeah. I was just glad it wasn't me.
So. Yeah, how about that?
Right.
Yeah.
But no, that was so much fun. What an amazing debut event for Power Pro Lucha. It was honestly an honor. I felt so special, and I was so thrilled to be on the call for that. They'll be back again in May on the 25th with Alyssa. That's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited to see where a lot of these stories are going. It's a blast, honestly.
Were you a big Jakara fan of the past?
It's funny. I went through a crazy hiatus. So like I watched wrestling when I was very, very little and then didn't start back up until my 20s. So I missed a very big chunk and ended up just going back and watching it. So I didn't have the same tie that a lot of other, people that were part of the show did, but I had a lot of appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. A very cool sort of lead into what they're doing now with Power Pro Lucha. This idea of the long-term storytelling and the characters, and it was just a crazy night. It was so much fun to have that atmosphere back again.
It's the whole idea of regeneration. It was breathing a lot of fresh life into older characters, seeing a lot of newer competitors too, and tying in some new craziness. Like the last 30 seconds of the event, which were absolutely
no.
What the heck is going on with Matt Mako? Like, what are we doing?
If you haven't seen it, spoilers now.
But, spoilers.
But if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go on IWTV. Like,
yes,
now,
why are you not
subscribed? Pause this video, go over there, watch it, and then come back to us, and then we'll talk about it. But there was just everything about that show was insane. The venue, how they got such an amazing venue is
it's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I have such an appreciation for, because obviously what I do with commentary, a lot of it is all about how the action is presented. So I really appreciate like great lighting and a nice venue and having scenery that looks fantastic to support the wrestlers in their roles. So I was thrilled with the space. It was so cool.
Yeah, and like just having them go up the stairs as like the entranceway and having all the screens behind them.
The building itself was a whole vibe. It was like
it really was.
The whole atmosphere. I mean, you have seen wrestling a lot of places. I have seen wrestling a lot of places. Nothing like that.
It's true. I'm trying to think about like all the different like spaces I've been in. I'm like, nope, this one was completely unique. The Arlen Specter U.S. National Squash Center.
It is the home of the U.S. national team.
Probably the longest name of a venue I've ever heard.
I'm not gonna lie to you, and obviously, like, no disrespect to squash. Like squash,
of course not.
Yeah, squash. I didn't know squash was that big of a thing to have that.
Yes, right.
Blown away. You learn something every day.
Yeah, how about that?
So cool.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I know this might be a little tough to answer, maybe not a little tough to answer, but so you had the opportunity during Power Pro Lucha, as we said, to commentate with both Dr. Ethan Wild and the talent scout Avery Good. Which experience did you enjoy more?
Oh, on the spot.
Here's how good I am. Each experience enriched me in different ways, and I could not pick between the two. I think that Ethan Wild and I had a lot of a conversation, a lot to bounce back and forth off of one another, a lot of repartee, if you will. And Avery Good was just such a wealth of knowledge in the fact that he had so much shared history with a lot of the wrestlers that we were seeing. So in actuality, there's no way that I could pick a favorite because both were such enjoyable experiences.
Right.
You won't catch me slipping.
No, very.
You tried not at all.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Avery is, and I don't say this lightly, but you know, in the world of wrestling, in the world of independent wrestling, I mean, Avery's a legend. Everybody knows the guy.
Absolutely.
He's done so many things throughout his entire career. The perfect person to have come in for the end of the show.
Exactly.
It's true. And I think with Dr. Ethan Wild has such a fantastic personality, and the 12-point vocab words that he was just
we love him. Dude, his vocab is insane.
Yeah.
Incredible. I really
$10 words.
Exactly. And I really appreciated both experiences. They were different, but I had so much fun working with both of them.
It was very interesting you used the word repertoire, because the commentary, watching the show back on IWTV, the commentary was just so seamless and so flowing, and it just it felt really natural. Like, you know, you guys had been calling matches together for years.
Forever.
Both Ethan and Avery.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, because that was my first time working with both of them. I know that Ethan and I had seen each other and talked about it at different shows in the past, but to this day, that was the first time that we got to share a broadcast. So that means the world to me, because I'm usually a color commentator. So to have to be in a position of play-by-play to kind of guide the action along, I put a lot of pressure on myself that I wanted to make sure that the experience felt seamless. So to hear that it did, thank you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it definitely added to the show. It was very well done. Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Let's talk about your history. You know, obviously this is Wrestling with Life, but what was wrestling life, or what was life like before wrestling?
Life before wrestling was pre-wrestling. Was a lot of, it was theater. It was music. It was opera. It was a lot of performance in different ways that utilized my voice specifically. Always a bit of a talker, but it didn't turn into and find its way into the world of wrestling until, like I said, I was in my 20s. But before that, yeah, it was all theater, performance, and music before making the jump over to wrestling.
Very cool. So do you, and I guess the easiest way, do you watch the product now? Are you a regular viewer of wrestling?
Yes. I find myself more often than not catching highlights of stuff when I can't, because I love it. We are so lucky to have so much wrestling
but there is so much wrestling.
But there's also so much wrestling. So yeah, I try to stay up to date as much as possible with a lot of the major companies. I mostly, though, find myself I'm paying attention to what my friends are doing. So I want to see what opportunities they're getting, what companies they're working for, and trying to keep like a finger on the pulse to the best of my ability.
Right. There's just literally, me and Ralph were talking about this the other day, how you could literally watch wrestling every day because you have Monday Night Raw, you have NXT on Tuesdays, AEW on Wednesdays, TNA on Thursdays, SmackDown on Fridays, and then
on AEW on Saturdays again.
Yeah, well, yeah, AEW on Saturdays, and then on occasion, if they have double bookings, you have your pay-per-view for AEW and WWE on Sunday. So you could have a full-fledged week of just wrestling, and because it's Mania season, or because we had Mania season, that was a whole week of just craziness.
Yeah, and so, you're looking at 18 hours total for both days of WrestleMania this year.
Yeah,
each day is 9 hours.
Long Mania.
So
mind you, I'm not going to watch I don't think anybody's really going to watch the pre-show, a 3-hour pre-show. But it's a lot. It's a lot.
I buckle up and get some snacks is all.
Right.
Goodness.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that, and since you brought it up, we'll just jump right in a little early. But on your profile on Instagram, there's a couple interesting things. Yeah. The first one I see says snack enthusiast.
Yes.
So how does one earn the title of snack enthusiast?
Right.
Well, you see, Ralph, you eat a lot of snacks, and
right. Sure.
and you enjoy them.
All right.
Honestly, I think it used to be that sounds so silly. I kind of built my social media presence off of cereal and how much I loved cereal.
Yes.
And that slowly morphed into I didn't want to be a one snack gal. I didn't want to only have cereal in my arsenal. So I expanded it to snack enthusiast as a reinvention of sorts because I am still one to enjoy a snack here or there.
Yeah.
And I'm just thrilled with the idea that snacks exist and that we get to have. How lucky are we? You know,
I know we can just have any snacks you want. I know within reason, but like,
live
a little.
My favorite part is like if you read like the certain like serving sizes on certain things, like Oreos say 2. Who really only eats 2 Oreos? Listen, I mean, come on, like who's really?
Yeah,
limiting themselves to 2.
Listen, I'm personally more than 2 serving sizes, so I'm definitely not going to eat 2 serving sizes.
We have to accommodate, like just use your best judgment.
Right.
You know what that is?
Go off your best guesses.
Those serving sizes, that is snack shaming. That's what that is. Those serving sizes, because it makes you feel bad for not eating, exactly what the box says you should eat. Because who does that? Nobody.
It's often misleading as well.
Not that this is a snack, but just as another example, if you go to like coffee creamers, right, and you look at the serving sizes, it says like 2 tablespoons. I never do 2 tablespoons of anything.
Does anyone even realize how like small 2 tablespoons is? Like,
right.
Listen, I tip the bottle and I count to like 14 and I'm done.
Right.
Like,
you just make sure that's the right number. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we own stock in coffee creamer in this house because we drink a lot of coffee and we drink a lot of creamer. And that's terrible, but it's what we do.
Dress it up and make it drinkable is what I say.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing on your profile that we had alluded to, but let's get into like how it started. But let's get cereal.
Let's get cereal. Yes.
How did we start from going from snack enthusiast to let's get cereal?
So let's get cereal actually came first, which was I started when I first started in wrestling. I was like, okay, I got to do something. I got to try and get like some followers on social media. So I started to post on my story on Instagram that I would be eating cereal. And I found that I was getting a lot of people like chiming in or asking like, oh, what cereal is your favorite? Yada, yada. From there, it became, I dubbed myself a cereal expert.
Okay.
I would provide my expert ratings on people's favorite cereals. So that, gave a little bit more engagement. People would submit their favorite cereals and I would give them some kind of a rating. Ranging from the grossest, which is like grape nuts, to the best, which is, using, my discernment of cereal enthusiasm. And it eventually got to the point where fans at shows were bringing me cereal. And I was like, this is it. I made it.
Yes.
I'm done.
Love it.
Like,
Love it.
This is my dream. People are giving me cereal. But then I had an issue where I had so much cereal and I didn't know what to do with it all. So I started bringing the cereal to wrestling shows and setting it up in the locker room for, wrestlers to enjoy. I would start to have a tote bag that had like almond milk spoons, paper bowls, and boxes of cereal.
Yes.
So I would bring it. I would set it up in the locker room. I'm like, yes, I'm catering. Just kidding. They're,
right.
My version of catering. And then it started into, well, let me see if anyone would want to do. It was almost like an idea of like Hot Ones. Like, let's sit down, let's eat some cereal, and let's do an interview. So that's what it became. Let's Get Cereal became an interview show where I would, what was it? I sit down, eat cereal, and talk about stuff.
Right.
Sometimes it was with wrestlers. Sometimes it was solo episodes where I would just talk about whatever. It was a blast. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Now, are you a fan of like the Saturday morning cartoons, like the old school, like Saturday?
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You obviously, Jack the Ring Announcer.
Yes.
Do you follow Serial Killing It Saturday mornings?
No, but I must.
And you must. So quick shout out to Jack. What's up, Jack? Serial Killing It. I gotta do a quick shout out to him. His Saturday morning show where all he does is he'll pull up old cartoons from the 70s and 80s. And he'll sit down with his bowl of cereal and watch it with you. Yeah.
Fantastic. Done.
Saturday mornings.
Amazing.
Serial Killing It. Get on that.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So 32 questions, 3 parts apiece about cereal. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Got it.
So, all right. So first off, a statement. I am a cereal lover as well.
Yes, we love cereals.
I like to consider myself a serial killer because I kill.
That's good.
But I actually thought about one time. This idea came to me. I wanted to open a restaurant called Serial Killers, and all it was just all you can eat cereal buffet. Different
That's
kinds
amazing.
of milks. Yeah, it would have been amazing, and someday may still happen. That's like a little dream of mine in the back of my head.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There used to be one in Philadelphia that was called Cereality.
Yes.
Right.
I went to one in LA too. It's like there's a huge one in Vegas. So if it's still open and people are out there for Vegas, find it and hit it up.
Yeah.
Right.
And they always have like the craziest kinds of cereals. Like it's unbelievable where they get this stuff from.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So you personally, it comes down to the wire. You can have one cereal. That's it.
One.
What is your personal favorite?
It's Golden Grahams. It's
such a good one.
Nice.
Golden Grahams every time.
Wow.
It's just sweet enough without being too sweet.
Right.
The longevity, it gets less soggy, less quickly. And I always call it like the powdery pluffs at the bottom of the bag.
Right, right.
The bits stay intact a little bit better.
The cereal dust.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, the cereal dust.
Yeah.
I haven't given my Golden Grahams dissertation in a while, so I apologize if I'm a little.
No, that's all right.
It's fine.
I like somebody.
I was ready.
I like somebody that has the passion about cereal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's you're not just filming YouTube. You have a real passion for cereal.
That's true.
Just thought of this now, and I know this is going to sound silly, but it is a debate among cereal people.
Oh boy.
I don't know why, but it is. Now, do you do cereal before milk or milk before cereal?
It is always cereal before milk.
Yes.
Okay.
Amen.
Okay. That's right.
All right.
That's right.
We can
That's
continue
right.
the show. Everything's good. I was a
little
worried was really worried you'd answer that wrong and we'd have to like cancel the episode.
Just cut it off. Just end it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, bye. It was fun.
Yeah, right. I don't know who's doing milk before cereal or when that started. I don't know why or how.
Like,
it
makes it so much
first.
It's like you can't get as much cereal in the bowl unless you're mashing it down. Like it's so weird. Like
it's weird. Also, go through that? I don't know about you guys, but how I gauge my milk amount is based on how the cereal rises.
Yes, right,
exactly.
Right. That's how you figure out the math. I don't know. So
now,
putting the milk in first,
Well, yeah. Speaking of milk, you mentioned almond milk backstage. So are you an almond milk person? What is your choice of milk for cereal?
I am an almond milk person. I tried it once. I absolutely loved it. I used to like whole milk back in the day.
Ooh, yes.
I think I grew up on 1%.
Nice. So, yeah, same.
I think almond milk just always like felt better when I started.
Right.
Well, if
you're drink it, it's only for cereal.
Right. It's only for cereal. Right.
If your experience is 1%, I can understand where the almond milk would come in and like dazzle you. You know, I get it.
Right. Whoa,
like it's a milk revelation. Whoa.
It is.
Boom. Mind blown. Who knew that almonds were so plentiful?
I know.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, amazing.
Now, wanting to get back to wrestling, do you remember what your first gig was?
Ooh.
So my first wrestling show that I ever worked was, oh my God. So my wrestling school that I came from, which is Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, they were doing a private event at like a party at a motorcycle club. And I was a photographer. I was a ringside photographer.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if those photos ever saw the light of day. Because I was so terrified of being in the way or like getting someone diving onto me.
Right.
Because I was brand new. I was like, I don't know what to expect. Sure. And then I think my first actual performing role was, this is a funny story. So I had the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy would do these shows at the school. And I had been working on a character called Kathy from Human Resources. And it was a manager character that I had just been working on in the school, in the classes.
Sure.
And I remember we were doing something and they needed like some segment. And it was, to this day, I'm so grateful. It was Brody King.
Yes.
Goes to Joey Chaos, who was helping to like run everything on the show. And he says, hey, put the Kathy girl on. Let's see what she can do. I was like,
yeah, deer in headlights.
Right.
The way that my heart somehow both rose into my throat and then dropped into my stomach. I was terrified, but I remember I had part of the gimmick was I had a clipboard. And that was, I would walk around with my little clipboard and I had written down word for word everything that I was going to say just in case. It was blind terror. And that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship with wrestling.
Blind terror, man. You don't know what happens when you go out there. And then once you go there, you're like, ugh. I remember me and Ralph's first like interviews out. I think our first interviews was at Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company.
Oh, that might have been, yeah.
With our little lav mics that we bought from Walmart just to have something on us.
Just to have something.
It was like in a whole like, okay, now what do we do? We go ask for interviews? Like what are we doing? Where
it's terrifying.
We set up a spot? Like we're just like
yeah, it takes a little while till you figure everything out, but yeah.
Now it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, well,
right.
yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Pretty much. I think we've absolutely figured out things. It's just funny. Yeah. It's just funny watching us. It was like we didn't even have it clipped. We were just holding them like this. Like
just holding them like we don't know what's going on.
This little microphone's like whatever.
Yeah.
We're all just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Also, talk a little bit about your time. I don't know how long of a time it was, but in NXT.
Oh yeah, so that was an awesome experience. I started there in January 2020.
Okay.
And, the
COVID era.
Exactly. So I got a solid 3 months of awesomeness. It was grueling. It was a lot. It was a lot to learn. I was constantly studying, constantly learning new things every day. Alicia Taylor was my mentor. She was absolutely fantastic. To this day, I will sing her praises. Just such a talent and such a thoughtful and wise person to have and be under the wing of. Was just an incredible experience. But my role was as a live event host. So I would do all of the local events in Florida where it would be, sometimes it was NXT TV talent. Sometimes it was folks that were at the PC that hadn't maybe made a total debut on TV yet. And I would be the ring announcer and host for those events. And I did a lot of the clips that are on the highlight reel that you had talked about backstage was, I would do the WWE.com website exclusive interviews.
Right.
So some of those just little behind the scenes kind of clips I would get to do at the NXT tapings, which I think actually was my favorite part. I love doing those interviews. Yeah,
so
that was my role.
Yeah, that's incredible to think about, just having an opportunity like that. And you brought up Alicia Taylor. It's nice to see what she's getting now, because she is extremely talented.
Amazing.
She's very good.
Amazing.
So it's great to see, where she's at right now.
Yeah. Her drive is out of this world. I think always had such incredible determination, and anything that she was putting her mind to, she did 110%. She's so talented in so many, when we were talking about music earlier, incredible musician, incredible talent, great talker. Obviously you could hear, I'm sorry, I could just,
no, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely sing the praises of Alicia Taylor. We sing the praises of her all the time. She's been a great addition to the main roster. Shows. It definitely shows, especially after Samantha Irvin, who was also great in her role, left. So you need to fill that gap. What was nice though is that they brought back Lillian Garcia for a little bit to fill that gap, and she's a legend. That was awesome.
Oh my God,
But to have Alicia Taylor step into that role, that's just incredible. That must have been like a fever dream to even be like, hey, you are now in this shoe.
Well deserved.
So, okay. So I've had some opportunities to do some ring announcing and some commentary, and I'm going to tell a quick commentary story because then I want to get your take on things. Okay, so I did commentary this one time, and the guy that was doing commentary alongside of me, who was supposed to be doing the play-by-play, was also the ring announcer. So he would have to get up and go into you were there. He'd have to get up and go into the ring, and then he'd have to come back, and it kind of devolved into random wrestlers just coming up and sitting down at the table and talking to me. So the commentary went out the window. I don't even know if they used the commentary that was recorded for that show.
I don't know, because there were some kids that were walking around too. They're like, hey, can we get in there? And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? Whatever.
At that point, what am I going to do? Say no? And listen, I honestly think that the kids that were coming up to me were the children of the very, very large man that came over and sat down and did commentary with me. So I was terrified to say no. But okay. So have you ever had any commentary mishaps?
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, so many. I mean, I've had stuff where I've called someone's move the wrong name.
Right.
And I was just actually talking about this with someone very recently about how I had to get to a point where it's okay, acknowledge and move on, because I would back in the day get so hung up on the idea of, oh no, I made a mistake, that I would lose track of, oh, wait a second, I'm sorry. Several moves have happened since that time. So I think for me, maybe I try not to hold on to the mishaps as much. But so many. There's been so many. I think I've had stuff where I've had dives that have wiped out audio. That's been
no.
I've had dives that have come really, really, really close to where commentary is, and scared the holy hell out of us. we've had people some obviously depending on what promotion I'm at. Sometimes it's a headset, sometimes you're holding a microphone. We've had wrestlers grab the mic and like just spout off on their way to either to or from the back. It's beautiful. It's yes and we just
yes and
we don't literally roll with the punches. They do. We figuratively roll with the punches.
Right. Yeah. Now, as an announcer in the ring to announce the stars, a lot of people will memorize names. A lot of people will use cue cards. Do you prefer the cue card method, or do you try to memorize everyone's names method?
With how infrequently I ring announce these days, I'm usually more commentary. I do have I do an index card, but I usually fold it in half. So it's very almost palm sized. So it doesn't.
Gotcha.
I try not to be like very obviously looking
like a huge paper. Like, hey, let me
my scroll.
Exactly. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Right. Just
I wouldn't put it past anyone. That's depending on how many matches you got. Like,
yeah. Listen, I'd bring a whole binder out. I'd be
right. The whole
why do you think Kathy from HR had the clipboard?
Yes, exactly.
It was such a comfort to me.
It was practical.
But yeah, I know in NXT I had to have them memorized. But that was, I think, almost in my mind, I reasoned it out as it being easier because I had a set roster that I literally had flashcards I would drill myself on to make sure that I knew who everyone was and where they were billed from. On the indies, there's so many people. You don't know who you're going to see when or who's going to be on what show, how many matches you're going to have. So I do like to have a little comfort cue card.
Yeah, just a little one, just a little palm,
little security blanket.
So I've had one opportunity to ring announce, and it was for the same company that I did the commentary for, but many years earlier. And we're about an hour from showtime, and the ring announcer still has not shown up. And the owner's like, well, somebody's got to do it. And they're like, you do it. I'm like, what? So I'm scrambling around because they don't have anything ready. They don't have any information about anybody. Like, so I'm running around scrambling, writing stuff down and furiously taking notes. So I get up, I get into the ring, I do the ring announcing, I come back out, and something happened with the ring. I don't exactly know what it was, but by the time the first match was done, we had guys refusing to get into the ring. And I'm like, well, if they're not getting in the ring, I'm not getting in the ring. Right. So I stood off in the corner and did ring announcing from the corner because I'm like, yeah, I mean, there were literally wrestlers that were afraid to get in the ring. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going in there.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah, I'm not naming any names, but this was a very adventurous company. This was also a company, and this is a funny story. So
here we go.
They have had some big names, and you know certain things will happen when you have big names on indie shows and whatever. Right. The one show they were doing a steel cage match, and somehow the steel cage they got did not fit the ring. So they put up the steel cage and they tied it together at the corners, and they had to have people standing around ringside holding the steel cage.
Oh my God.
During the match. Yeah. And then this is my best story. I don't think I've ever told this one on air yet.
Oh, okay.
So, we brought in Jim Neidhart, the Anvil, one time.
Oh, you have?
Yes,
I think you have. But
yeah, I may have, but this is
Go on.
So we brought him in, and there was a certain wrestler that would always get to wrestle whoever the star was because they were putting out money to help bring that person in.
Right.
So the storyline here was that this wrestler was going to wrestle against Jim Neidhart, and if he beat Jim Neidhart, then the Anvil would have to come back at the next show and reform the Hart Foundation with him. Brilliant storyline going into it. So we get to the show, and these two are practicing in the ring, and they're doing they go through the whole thing, and they're done practicing, and the wrestler goes one way, and Jim Neidhart comes over and says, I refuse to get in a ring with that guy. We're like, uh-oh, what do we do now? Oh, we're stuck. So we decided to put them together as a tag team. We thought, okay, there's no way that this can go wrong. Like it would take like a natural disaster to ruin this somehow. So everything's going great. The match is going fine. The wrestler's in the ring and he's trying to get the hot tag, and he goes for the hot tag, overshoots the hot tag and punches Jim right in the face. Jim Neidhart was so mad after the show was over. He was in the locker room throwing chairs and throwing his gear into his bag. He got out into his car and started driving away. I had to run out the back door and flag him down and stop him because his girlfriend was still at the merch table selling merch, and he left her there because he was so mad. Like he had tunnel vision. He was so mad. So he just, yeah. All right.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. I got some great stories, but yeah. So ring announcing is a whole nother animal. Ring announcing is a lot different. You know, you have to have a certain passion, and not that you don't for commentary, but you have to have a certain passion and energy you've got to be more over the top. You know, you've got to, really, you're helping build that excitement for the person that you're announcing. So it is not an easy job.
No, not at all. Oh God, no.
Yeah.
And it's tough too, because I think a lot of the time we don't think about it, but a lot of the time the ring announcer is kind of like hosting and telling the fans what to expect next as well. So I've had situations where it's like, okay, the following contest is a tag team match, and they're like,
no, it's not. Stop.
And then the two singles competitors come out, and I go,
all right,
following contest is a singles match scheduled for one fall. Just kidding, That was an eye opener. I was like, oh shoot, yeah.
Last
you had to roll the punches. You had to roll the punches.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh,
now
that's
we talked earlier about the amazing venue of the Squash Center.
Yes.
Do you have maybe a story about maybe the worst venue you had a show at?
I haven't. Shoot, I can't think of any like really bad ones.
Okay.
I consider myself lucky. I've always had
there you go.
Yeah.
We've had like really small locker rooms or super hot spaces that don't have like great ventilation.
AC. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had one, it was actually dead of summer, and it was like it had a big open gate area. So like what was the point of trying to air condition it? Because it was like outside was right there.
Right.
And I remember I had the genius idea of wearing like pleather pants.
Oh no.
I remember leaving the venue and going, these pants are now part of my body. I don't
we are one.
We are one now. Yeah.
Oh man.
So but that was my own fault for outfit choice. But yeah, just little situations like that. Never anything like terrible, but just like funny elements at play.
Yeah. I was just at a show a few weeks ago at an ice skating rink up the road from my house.
Ooh.
Now, I'm thinking it's going to be inside because there's an inside rink and then there's an outside rink. So we go into the inside. I walk inside. I'm like, hey, where's the wrestling? They're like, that way. Outside, awesome. Was not prepared for this. I have a hoodie and a hat. It was so cold the entire night. I'm like, is there any heat at all? No heat at all. Great. And then even on like the owner was like, hey, we know it's cold out there, but enjoy some great wrestling. I'm like, yeah, like freezing my butt off. Like, I don't know if I can do this any much longer. Like,
yeah.
Well, like, but in my head, I was like, intermission, I might just dip out. Like, bye guys, just go home. But I was like, no, I think I'll take it. I'll stay for the cage matches. I'll have fun. Just really cold. It's okay. But yeah, there's been many venues that we've been to that have been either very hot or very cold. There's no in between.
Yeah, there really isn't. I was working on a show one time. It was in an old elementary school, and so there was only one room that was big enough for a locker room, and it was this room behind the stage that the town council used for their monthly meetings. So everybody kind of files in there because, again, it's the only space big enough for everybody. So everybody's filing in there. And at some point during the show, somebody comes up to us and says, it's okay that you're in there, whatever, but don't stay in there too long. The town council has stopped meeting there because there's mold in there. So don't stay in there too long.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was a good one too. Venues. Oh,
yes, bold. Now you've done, like you said, so many different facets of non-wrestling work. I have two questions. One is, did you ever actually want to be a wrestler?
Ooh.
Or not?
I think in my mind I played with the idea, but I did a one-day tryout and quickly realized that the promo was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think for me, I always knew in my heart that physically I didn't feel super confident and sure of like my what's that word?
Ability?
Not even ability, coordination.
Okay, gotcha.
Coordination's a big one.
Yep, that's a big one.
I have walked into door frames. I'm not big and massive. What am I doing? I just don't have coordination. So I think that when you wrestle, you have to have a certain confidence in trusting your body and its motions and what you know it's going to do and what it's capable of doing. Because if you second guess yourself, you or someone else can get hurt. And
sure.
I didn't ever want to risk that of me being like, well, is this right? And then it's like how I said, I would have on commentary, like, oops, I had a slip up. Oh no.
Right.
You can't like,
that's a little different.
There's so much more at stake for that. And I just never wanted to try that risk.
And then question 2 would be, because you have done so many different things backstage and announcing commentary, do you have maybe a favorite facet that you've done in your wrestling journey, whether it be commentary, announcing, backstage correspondence, interviews?
I always love backstage correspondence because I think you get to drive stories in such an interesting way, where you're not narrating or sprinkling in knowledge like you would on commentary, but you're elevating as a platform for the wrestler in a more direct way that you get to interact with them and have a rapport. I always love that. I think though now where I'm at, commentary is probably my favorite just because I do love the storytelling aspect of it. So between backstage correspondence and commentary, probably tough little tie.
So speaking of commentary, is there someone that you would say maybe was someone you tried to study, someone you tried to, emulate, someone that may have been an inspiration for your work on commentary?
I think Michael Cole was always someone that I really admired the work of. I think he's absolutely brilliant. When I first got started, though, was right around the time that I feel like Renee Paquette was she on the Raw team?
Raw, yeah.
Yes,
yeah, she was on Raw.
And it was right around the time that she was getting really focused, and I really loved the journalistic style that she brought to it. So I know that that's something I tried to emulate because, like I said, a lot of my roles, I was in more of a color commentary sort of position. I knew I couldn't come at it from an analyst standpoint. Like I didn't have the in-ring expertise. I didn't have the experience. So being able to draw on the fact that I did backstage correspondence, I was able to do things like, well, talking to them before the match, they said X, Y, Z, or kind of trying to go off of what the wrestlers may have been thinking or feeling, as opposed to the action that was happening in the ring. So I did try to channel kind of both of those in my early studies.
Yeah, and Renee's a really interesting choice because you would see her do things like the pre-shows for the pay-per-views and PLEs. But when she did Talking Smack, when they did that show, you really saw how good she was, because that show was very much less planned than other shows. Like, they were able to talk more freely. And I think you really got to see that side of her where you're like, wow, you knew she was good, but when you saw her on there, you're like, wow, like she is on another level.
Yeah. Right. Just such a natural, like kind of flow, the way that for a lot of those segments, she was able to keep guardrails on of like, hey, but we have to still kind of stay on message. We still have to get this point across. I commendable. She's fantastic.
Now, when you're doing commentary, do you ever catch yourself maybe with you and whoever your color commentary may be, going off on like certain tangents, maybe here and there, like kind of going off the rails a little bit?
I try not to. I've had little things where it'll be like a little joke here or there, but for the most part, I always want to get it back to the action, because at the end of the day, I never feel like, oh, I'm doing commentary for myself. I'm doing commentary for the wrestler in the ring. You know, like I can't go out there and do what they do. So the least I want to do is do right by them. So, I mean, I'm sure it's happened here or there, but I really try and keep a focus on. One of my other mentors was Lenny Leonard. And it was always the idea of, you'll never be wrong if you just call what you're seeing. So if everyone's like, uh-oh, we're wavering. Okay, like, let's get back to what's happening. I think it's always been like a guiding light for me of those words.
So throughout everything that you've been able to do in your career in wrestling, what would you say is probably the coolest moment you've had?
Oh,
man.
It's tough. I know.
The first one that pops into my mind was, I had just come back from we drove overnight to do a show in Vegas, and it was while I was living in LA. And I had gotten home, I had like crashed on the couch, and I remember waking up and like looking at my phone and going, oh my God. And it was getting the call that I had been picked up to go to NXT.
Oh, wow.
That was just because I remember getting really emotional, because I was like, oh, like, this is what I was just doing that overnight drive to try and like show that I was worthy of doing. So it was just a really cool kind of moment of the polarity of being so exhausted from the booking the night before, and then like, okay, this is this new opportunity. This is like a dream role. So that was just a really cool moment that I can recall. But I've had so many that I'm so grateful for. But that's just like the first one that stuck out when you said that.
But so now, how did that? Who initiated contact? Did they find you, or did you initiate contact to NXT?
Oh, that's a good question.
So to this day, I don't know. Because
good answer.
I had there were a couple things that I think might have played a factor. I had done a seminar for Evolve, and I remember it was like maybe 2018. And it was in Chicago, and I remember flying myself out, and I was like, I'm going to go. I want to do this seminar. I remember like sleeping in the airport. Like, it was just not glamorous, but I wanted to have the opportunity. It was a Tommaso Ciampa seminar.
Oh, good one.
And it was a fantastic seminar. I remember taking so many notes, and I was just so fascinated with it. But I remember they were doing practice matches. And they were like, you could basically attend this seminar if you were an active wrestler, a referee, or a manager. And I was like, okay, well, at this time I was doing more ring announcing and commentary. I wasn't even doing my manager character anymore, but I was like, I could do it. Like, I could do this. And I remember he had said, Ciampa had said, like, do what you know you can do. Like, this is your chance to show what you do, what you're capable of. This is your opportunity. So I'm like getting changed, and I'm like this, and I'm like going around to people in their matches, because I didn't know anybody. I was like, hey, do you need a manager? Do you need a manager? Would you care for a manager in your match? And I was like, this is dumb. I don't like, so I remember going up to one of the people that was running the seminar and going, hey, so I do commentary. I'm not a manager. Can I just record myself commentating these matches and then like send it to someone for feedback maybe? Cause like, I want to do what I do, and I don't, you know? And they're like, can she do that? Yeah, you could do that. And that, I don't know if that played a role, because I did get to like kind of network a little bit while I was there. I'd also done like extra work where you have to like, at that time you had to like sign up on a website. So I don't know if they had my name or my information, but again, I don't know how or what it was. But I think that those were two experiences that I credit with potentially having gotten my name on the right radars.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about like you think about all the stuff that you've been able to do. Like we're coming up on our 2 years now, and just looking back and thinking about some of the places we've been able to go, people that we worked with. I mean, some of the names we got to talk to. We accidentally had Matt Hardy on the show.
No way.
Because
so that's the best part. So for our 1 year last year, we had John Alba, who is co-host alongside Matt Hardy for Extreme Life with Matt Hardy.
Right.
And he said he gave us an hour. Thank you for that. But midway through the show, his phone goes off, and he goes, "Hang on, it's Matt Hardy that calls." First of all, what are the chances? But without even thinking, John puts on speaker and goes, "Hey, I'm doing a podcast right now. They're celebrating their 1 year anniversary. Is there anything that you want to say to them?" Boom.
Yeah.
And Matt Hardy said,
Matt Hardy's talking to us.
Congrats on 1 year. I wish I could be there with you, but I'm flying out to Albany. Like we're like,
oh, it was so.
What is happening right now? What is happening?
Awesome.
It's
so cool.
we had the opportunity to go to the Matt Hardy podcast that he did at the Monster Factory WrestleMania week with the wrestlers, because I contacted John. I said, listen, we're podcasters. I said, and you guys are really doing, great work with this podcast. I said, I think it might be beneficial for us to, be able to come and hear all of that. So we went there. I got to ask a question, which was pretty awesome. Nice. But we met John, and we were like, hey, we've got this 1 year anniversary episode coming up. We'd love to have you on. And it just, it's just little moments like that. You sometimes it's hard to take an objective look and say, wow, look at all the things I've been able to do because of it, and just taking that moment sometimes and looking back and going, wow, like I did things, I talked to people, I'm friends with people now that I can't imagine anybody would ever believe that I know, you know what I mean? Like it's little things like that, that kind of makes it all worth it.
It's absolutely wild to think about. I mean, even you're Highlight Reel speaks for itself. The people that you've talked to, the people that you've met, the friendships that you've met. It's kind of crazy to look back on and think, wow, I did all of that. Like,
and too often, obviously, I think so much of wrestling is like, all right, cool. What's next? What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? Keep the ball rolling. That we don't really get the time to kind of like, oh, let's reflect. This is cool.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So when you are not busy studying wrestling or watching wrestling or commentating wrestling or ring announcing wrestling or eating cereal, what kind of things do you enjoy? What are some of your hobbies, maybe things you like to do?
My favorite things to do, I love learning, and I like study a bunch of languages. I do like little brain games. I absolutely love to like keep my mind fresh. So I like to read. Like those are some of my big hobbies.
Yeah. Do you speak any language fluently outside of English?
Not yet. My
right.
You're getting close though.
Right. My Italian's getting there.
All right. Okay.
I started trying to like think in it, which is, I think when you can think in a language, that's like, okay, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
I don't feel super confident even in English sometimes, but I'm getting there.
I mean, we obviously all grew up with it, but like just thinking about an outsider trying to learn our language, I can't imagine what they like the amount of words that we have that are like, obviously you're and you're there and there. Like if I was an outsider, I would be like, what? How did they figure this out? Like, what did they like? How did they learn?
English language is bonkers.
It literally is the most insane, like how we spell certain words, how certain words are sounded, but they're spelt the exact opposite of how you would think they would sound. Like it's insane.
What's our deal?
Insane.
Yeah, I had a moment like that the other day because I was watching a TV show, and there were some people on the TV show that were speaking Spanish, and I know a few words here and there, but I'm not really very good at it. And I all just out of the blue, it hit me. I'm like, so this confusion that I'm having right now, that's what people who don't speak English, like, because you don't ever think about that. You just think about like, oh, I don't know what these guys are saying, I'm gonna have to ask what they're talking about, and then but it's a whole thing. I never even thought of it like that before, but
definitely.
So your Italian's getting good. What other languages have you tried?
I just because I wanted a challenge, I started trying to learn Russian because I was like,
Oh,
"Ooh, let's
very
get
good.
a different like alphabet system."
Right.
That's thrilling. Spanish, and I had dabbled in some Japanese, especially when I was doing a lot of shows with more like Joshi talent or Japanese talent.
Right.
I wanted to try and have some very basics, so I dabbled in a little bit of that, and I think that those are the big ones right now. Yeah.
I have always wanted to learn Japanese. It is a lifetime goal of mine to go see a show at the Tokyo Dome and know what's going on, like be able to talk to people. And I've always wanted to do that. But yeah, other languages can be a little bit challenging when it comes to things like that. Just because like we always think about the English language, we're like, oh, this is so easy. I just like when you look at other languages when they have to say 15 words to say like three of what we're saying, and you're like, well, we're so much simpler. And then you try to learn like something like Japanese and you find out, well, there's all these different dialects and the writing is different than the speaking. Like it's insanity sometimes.
It's insane.
Like, yeah, and there's like multiple different like sets of characters.
Right.
Like, all language is confusing. All language is complex. So it's a pick and poison kind of thing.
I've realized in my grand old age of 35 that I can only speak English. I have tried Spanish. I did the classes, didn't do great. So, but because I've been to so many places on vacations, I've learned the 3 basic words that you need to know. Hello, beer, please, thank you.
Oh, all right.
That's all you need to know. Hola, cerveza, por favor, gracias.
There you go.
That's all you need to know.
You are set for life.
Anything else is just extra bonus points. Anything else is bonus points.
Man.
Obviously, like the hey, how are you? Like the simple ones. Like I tried. Like Spanish, I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. I've tried. I'm trying really hard. I don't know. I only know English, and I'm barely good at that. So
yeah,
it's a challenge every single day.
It certainly is. All right, so looking into the future, what kind of goals do you have for yourself moving forward?
I want to have a really enjoyable time and tell fantastic stories and enhance and enrich any of the companies that I work for.
Wow. All right.
Perfect. Perfectly stated. Yeah.
So, in talking about all the companies that you've worked for and places you will be working, do you have you traveled a lot for different shows?
Right now, I'm mostly traveling up to like New England. I have traveled in the past for different shows. Right now, I've kind of been keeping it a little bit more local on the East Coast for now.
Sure.
But anything can happen.
Of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies out there, a lot of places to go. We're just, Canada's right there. There's tons of great indie companies in Canada. So
scratch the surface.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So we are in the beginning of May here. When this episode hits, we are in the beginning of May. So what else is going on with you? What do you got coming up? Anything cool coming down the pike?
Here we go.
I do. So we have Blitzkrieg Pro, where I'll be doing commentary. They have After the Party on May 17th. They also have the huge Blitzkrieg Luau that's happening over the summer.
Yeah.
And then on May 18th, ETU comes back with Whatever It Takes. They've just announced some incredible debuts as well. So I'm sure going to see more of the matchups kind of being shown out as well. Pro Wrestling Grind comes back May 24th. And Power Pro Lucha, on May 25th. That is my May.
Exciting! Awesome. Gonna be some fun shows. Great places to go see some wrestling. Some good people running those companies as well. The people that run, I know the people that run Blitzkrieg and Grind. That they're all great people. So it's always good to see great people running wrestling.
Absolutely. And great products, great talent. It's
Yep.
I always say I feel so lucky. It's an embarrassment of riches, all of the amazing talent that I get to call matches for and that I get to work with and share spaces and locker rooms with it's an honor.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of honors, it was an honor to have you on the show today. Very, very cool. We met for the first time at Regeneration, and so again, listening back to the commentary, just absolutely spot on and amazing. So we were very excited to have you on the show as we kind of relaunch Wrestling with Life in 2025. So again, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming on, chatting it up. We'll have to find a time to eat some cereal. Like we need to have listen. Okay. Let's bring back.
Let's get cereal because I noticed that it's been a while since you've been on there.
Yes.
Noticed that.
So
we need to bring back.
So we need to plan this out. So we need to get some people involved, and we need to have like a cereal convention where we can get all people together and just eat cereal and record and talk and have a good time. It is the National Cereal Convention. We will set this up. We'll make this happen. I'm
Hilarious.
so excited.
Yes.
That literally just came to me, but I'm like, we need to do this. Like that would be amazing.
There's a market there. There
is. Listen, it could be a whole thing. Too.
Let's call it
Jack.
Too.
Listen, we're gonna. I know that there are a lot of closet cereal eaters that will come out of the closet when we call for them. So
why hide? Yes. Why hide? It's cereal. It's great.
Exactly.
Why hide?
All right. Well, on that note, I think that's going to about wrap us up here for this edition of Wrestling with Life. You have seen Alyssa's socials on the bottom there, her YouTube. So definitely check her out online, follow her to see all the amazing things that she's doing, the amazing places she's going, keep up to date. And if you have a chance to go to one of the shows she's at, definitely stop by and say hello. Tell her how much you enjoy her commentary.
Yes.
Always good to have positive wrestling people on our shows.
Of course.
Positive indie people. I mean, I know a little bit about, Power Pro Lucha, and I know that they would not have asked you if they did not believe that you were one of those good people in wrestling.
Right.
And of course, we love working with good people. So it has been a pleasure getting to talk to you today. I believe the next time we'll see you will be at Power Pro Lucha. So very, very exciting as well. So good luck with everything you've got going on. We wish you the best of luck, and it sounds like I'm wishing you the best in your future endeavors. But I am wishing you the best in your future endeavors.
Right,
nothing wrong with that.
You've been released.
Thank you for having me on. This was such a great chat.
And listen, you are welcome here anytime. Anytime you want to come on, hang out, chat, talk about wrestling, whatever. We are more than happy to have you. So thanks again. It's great talking to you today.
You both too. Thank you so much. Take care, and I will look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Wrestling with Life. For Alyssa Marino, for Parmesan, I am King Ralph. And remember, kindness is free, so be kind to each other. God bless you all, and we will see you next time.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.